Okay, Mad World. So I have started drawing again. It's been some 30 years. I was a decent artist at the time that I stopped. So I decided to listen to some interviews, follow the web, see what the latest techniques and methods are. And to my surprise, Sergeant Carter, I found that a lot of the methods and the methodologies that artists use to train themselves, the way they think and approach to their artworks is very similar to mixed martial arts training. And especially when we're talking about styles and systems, which is such a common phrase used in the martial art realm, I thought it was pretty interesting that these guys talked about following traditional formats, identifying what type of art you're doing. And the biggest one for me was these guys saying, hey, you just got to learn to express yourself. And one of the themes that seemed to be reoccurring is that you had to learn how to draw from your imagination. And it seemed that the best way to approach drawing from your imagination was learning what your personal rules are, not necessarily your value statements in terms of how you deal with the world. But for instance, some artists said, hey, I've got to have guidelines when I draw. And others said, I need geometrical shapes when I draw. And others said, I just kind of need to have the picture in my mind of the thing that I'm trying to draw. That seemed to be a reoccurring thing, that whatever the rules were, they just followed their rules. They maintained the rules. They didn't get caught up into what some famous artist had said in the past or what they used or what they did. They basically said, I've got to follow these set of principles and guidelines and work from that. And there are plenty of principles and concepts that you can work from. I thought it was interesting that this was their focal point that would take them into the realm of creating a new art piece. It wasn't so much about using a reference material or doing the way someone else did it. It was 100% about interpretation, not trying to get it just like the thing that they're seeing or looking at, just interpretation. A lot of the artists talked about being so well skilled and knowledgeable about anatomy, but because of that knowledge, they could exaggerate some of the movements, they could exaggerate some of the detail, just to have some fun with it. So I thought it was pretty interesting that there was a lot of similarity there that you could find in mixed martial arts, which in my opinion sometimes gets shut down in the mixed martial arts. It seems like individual expression these days is somewhat frowned upon. These artists, they have a lot of integrity when it comes to doing their artwork and their craft. They know that, hey, I may end up having to work for a company who maybe wants me to draw a certain way, but at the end of the day, they draw for themselves. Hey, look, I am Coach Sess, and you've had words with the Mad Coach.